Today's episode is brought to you by the Palladium 19 IMAX in San Antonio, Texas. If you don't live in San Antonio and you're listening to this, fly on down and watch a movie. Jump into a VIP 18 and up only showing of Mad Max, because we're still showing it, and you zip on out.
TBD starts now.
Welcome to another exciting episode of TBD with JB and JB. This is Josh Borain. You may know me from various traffic lights around town. You may also know me from paintball. On very rare occasions, I go do that. Sitting across from me, you may know him once again because of his beard. It is a very predominant beard. You may know him from his flannel shirts. You may know him from his losing fantasy football team. We have Jason Barrera, engineer, draftsman extraordinaire. Jason?
Hey, thanks, Josh.
Yeah, welcome aboard.
Imaginary
Well,
listener.
hold on. I just want to clarify real fast, because that almost made it sound like you're an engineer, and I don't want anyone to think that you are.
You don't want people to think that I'm not something.
You are a draftsman. You do drafts work on
Drafting?
AutoCAD?
No, I do not use AutoCAD.
Oh, is that out of the door?
AutoCAD? We just don't use AutoCAD.
Okay, that's just, okay. Well, whatever you use, some fancy.
Yeah, MicroStation.
MicroStation.
There's a
They're
lot of
very
people who-
small stations.
It is really hard to use because of how small it is.
You don't know this because you can't see us, but Jason actually has a very small hand.
Each one of my fingers is like a Coke can.
Yeah, basically. I said small, but whatever. Very small Coke cans.
Yeah, no, I got that totally back.
Like shooter cans that they sell in other countries.
So, it's been like 10 years since our last recording.
Correct. For anyone who has listened to our first and or, I'm not even sure if we're going to release it.
Our beta.
Our Gorilla podcast,
Yes,
if you
I
will.
was secretly recording everyone in the room.
True.
And nobody knew for about 45 minutes.
But he knew that the recording was happening, so that's technically illegal in the state of Texas. That's fine.
Is that true?
It is. As long as one person knows that the situation is being recorded.
Even if they are the ones who
are recording? Well, yeah, like in a like illegally recording a group of individuals and then using that recording like in a court of law, I believe that's inadmissible. You can't use that. But if one person in that room is like, I know this recording is taking place, I think you can. That's cool.
I think you mean one person besides the person
that's actually recording it.
Recording.
Well, I mean, if they're in the room, I would assume.
Well, I think majority of the times that person might
what
be in the room.
okay, hold on. Hypothetical situation.
Okay.
A person places a recording device in a room.
Okay.
One of the people that enters the room in the group knows that recording device is there, but the person who originally put it there has some sort of horrific Alzheimer's or a Christopher Nolan memento disease, and they forget about it.
Well,
it's still cool.
Let me ask you this.
If
If they have this Alzheimer's, wouldn't they be constantly forgetting who their friends were and how to get to places? So...
Well, that's why you would.
And
that's why the person
the bug in the first place.
Well, the person.
Oh, this is the reason.
Well, if you were going to have someone put a recording device in a room for you, you wouldn't want them to remember it. You would go.
This is like a memento situation.
Yes, exactly. I have actually used
writing on your body, or you're just storing recordings in your cloud space.
Well, yeah, I've personally used Guy Pearce on several occasions to assist me on placing recording devices around San Antonio.
He's very stealthy.
He's a very, very stealthy. I don't know if you've ever seen The Count of Monte Cristo. Cristo? No, Cristo. Not Crisco.
That is not the movie.
That was a cooking version that they came out with.
It had.
We talked about. I think it's because we talked.
He instructed you how to do various baking and use lots of Crisco.
Yeah. Well, 10 years ago, you talked about those goddamn sandwiches.
That's true.
No, yeah.
Eric brought up how much he disliked the Monte Cristo sandwich.
Yeah, and so that just got.
To agree.
So that word is
it
now
resonated.
Just,
You've been thinking about it for 10
whole years.
On all your journeys, you just can't get the thought of Monte Cristo out of your head.
All right. Yes. So for those of you who remember when we last left off, we went out. We went to the groves where they grow paper tree seeds, and of course we're not wasteful men, so we didn't just harvest all the trees. Otherwise, we wouldn't have future paper trees.
Our children's children would not have been able to write letters
or
draw pictures.
Yeah, make pop-up books,
record events.
Yeah, on paper.
Oh, that's the only way that you can do it.
Oh, it's wow, really?
I believe that
Was that another law that passed that I'm not aware of?
No.
All historical events have to be recorded on paper?
And it will forever be that way.
Okay, yeah, paper. Because paper, as we all know, paper never degrades.
That's right.
It is a perfect substance.
Yep.
At least the paper that we use. So, yeah, we went there. We got the seeds. We brought them back. We planted them. We nourished them.
Grew full, healthy-bodied trees.
Oh, yeah, they were full-figured trees. They were.
I like my trees.
Yeah, I don't like them to be skinny and anorexic looking. I like my trees like I like my women, full-bodied and opinionated.
Yeah.
And a little crazy.
Right. Lethal.
I love, a little mildly lethal. Like sometimes. Yeah. Once we all know paper tree seeds, if you eat the fruit from them, it kills you instantaneously.
Instantaneously.
Oh, it's the worst kind of death, too. Have you seen Game of Thrones Season 4, Episode 2, The Purple Wedding? Just like that. Just like that. Spoiler alert. Oh, you're supposed to say that first.
Yeah, you just ruined
Game of Thrones Season 4?
Yeah, because I was on Season 4, Episode 1.
Oh, wow.
And now I know everything about it.
That's so weird, because I remember talking about Season 5 with you. Did you just skip Season 4?
I like to watch it in reverse from
like Memento.
First.
You watch it Memento style. Okay, that's good move.
So,
that was like Guy Pearce watches shows.
Right. I, slowly figured out that everyone was dead as a result of the Purple Wedding.
Gotcha.
And
you're like,
now I know why.
Now I wonder how
it
that
happened,
went down.
And you ruined that for me.
Well, you should probably just stop watching the show then.
Fine. I think I'm just gonna quit.
Okay. Good. So we grew the trees.
Now that they're in season 14 of Game of Thrones.
Are you from the future, friend? Because I've actually talked about this several times. If I got the ability to travel through time,
yes, I know you.
The first thing I would do
to me on several occasions. That the first thing you would do is go watch the entire series from start to finish of Game of Thrones.
That is correct.
And then after that, you would do lots of illegal fantasy football betting and gambling and such.
Well, I mean, the second thing I would do would probably be to listen to the audiobooks for Game of Thrones for the rest of the books.
I see.
Because
so you watch the show and you listen to the audio.
Well, I just started listening to the audiobooks recently.
What was that?
I want to say, well, I did it for a week period about 6 to 8 months ago.
Okay.
I listened to the first half of the book 1 on YouTube. But then they pulled the videos. They pulled the videos because apparently you're not allowed to just put these books that you're supposed to pay for free on YouTube. That's weird. So I stopped. And then I want to say about a month and a half ago, I started doing this. Now, as you know, we were still heavy and hard into the paper tree growing process at that point. Well, harvesting by then. But while I was working on the paper trees and getting the paper ready and transcribing every word we said from the previous episode onto paper.
Correct.
Using an inkwell and quill.
Correct. The only way to documents.
But once again, this is when, legally speaking, when you record history, this is the only way you can do it. We all know that. Everyone knows that. I was listening to book 1 of Game of Thrones, and I gotta say,
I see. Well, so this has come full circle now.
Yeah. So I gotta let you know. I have I formed some crazy theories from watching the show.
Okay. Which I have already seen the end because I'm going in reverse.
Right. Because
But anyway, I still want to talk about it.
I formed this theory. I'm gonna say around season 3.
Okay.
And so if you're watching in reverse order from season now to season 1,
I haven't quite made it there yet.
Yeah, then you're not there yet. So I feel like I could be spoiling some things for you, but this is really more of a kind of a far-fetched theory that I had in the show. I listened to someone else read book 1 of Game of Thrones because I'm incredibly lazy. Yes. Or maybe because I'm highly productive and I like to do things while I read my books.
That's cool.
Right?
I like to do things while I watch TV.
But book 1 had a couple pieces of information that aren't in season 1 of the show.
Right, isn't there tons of information?
Oh, I mean, many, like
isn't there
lots
whole
of
character storylines.
Well, pretty much 90% of what's missing is food. That guy describes food. About 50% of the book is talking about food. Onions are a big food that shows up a lot for a lot of people. A lot of number 2s, a lot of second in commands, like Sir Davros Seaworth. I said that probably wrong. The Onion Knight.
Onion Knight.
He brought in onions to the siege that saved Stannis, which was, oh well, I mean, I don't know if you know this.
Okay.
That might be season 1, season 2 information. I don't know.
I don't even know if that was in the show.
I believe they make mention of it in one scene, and I have a weird brain.
Is this I Love Game of Thrones?
Oh, this is definitely an episode of I Love Game of Thrones. Okay. We've been in it for a while now, I think. I've been living I Love Game of Thrones for, well, I guess since season 1, halfway through season 1, when we discovered it was on Jetflix.
Jetflix was a great
Jetflix
thing.
Is a great. If no one out there has this episode, partially brought to you by Jetflix. If you got an Android phone, you want to watch some fucking. Oh, it doesn't have Game of Thrones anymore.
Apple, yeah, because HBO.
Yeah, it doesn't have Game of Thrones, so that's a little bit of a shitty advertisement thing. But HBO Now came out.
I wish that I had that on Amazon Fire.
Yeah, that would be, but it's only Apple. But one day.
One day,
fucking HBO will get their shit together and realize, oh god, we can be making insane amounts of money.
So much more money, you just sell your product directly to the customer.
Yeah, as opposed to...
I don't give a fuck about cable.
Look at Netflix. They have their own TV shows and they do amazing. I just got finished watching Daredevil. But it doesn't matter. Do you want to know...
Have you seen Bloodline?
Bloodline? That sounds like... I feel like it's a video game that you're talking about right now.
No, it's a show.
Hey, wait, can I make a theory about what the show's about before we get back into my Game of Thrones theory? Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Okay, Bloodline. If I had a show called Bloodline,
okay,
it would be about one of two things.
So you give me 2 theories.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
JB's 2 theories
about what Bloodline is. One of them, it's a show about werewolves.
Okay.
In which lycanthropy is only passed down genetically. It can't be passed through bite.
Right, okay.
That's guess number 1. Guess number 2 is every episode, like it would start back in like Egyptian times. And it basically, every episode would be a different day in the life of a woman in a family line. And every season would be the next generation. It would be about a single day in their life while they were menstruating.
Yes.
Which one of my assumptions are closest to what Bloodline is about?
I'm going to go with the Egyptian theory.
The Egyptian menstruation storyline.
Let me tell you something about Bloodline. I haven't seen it.
Oh, wow. So maybe it is about the...
werewolves, possibly.
Or both. It could be about
there
a line of werewolves.
There are humans on the picture when it displays.
Well, you know, they're humans most of the time, werewolves are. Blood. Do they say it like that? Really soft?
They don't.
Inaudible?
No, that's how I say it.
Blood.
If I'm like, hey man, do you want to watch
Bloodline? Do you quiver like that?
I do. I have to shake and quiver.
That's uncomfortable to see.
That's part of it.
It must be a gritty show.
Yes.
Sounds gritty. So back to Game of Thrones.
Back to I Love Game of Thrones.
I love Game of Thrones. Do you really want to know what my crazy theory is?
Let's hear the theory, Josh.
Okay, well, I've since coming up with this theory, if you remember correctly, I used to date Alicia.
She
was a big fan of Game of Thrones. She read the books, in fact, all of them. I personally don't want to get caught up to where the show's at because I don't want to ruin anything in the show, but I also hear it's diverging pretty hardcore at this point, so I feel more comfortable getting
starting
caught
up and reading all the rest of the books. Or, excuse me, listening to all the rest of the books.
Yeah, listening to somebody reading all of the books.
Somebody's
definitely reading the books,
like you're
but I'm getting the information. Who knows?
Wants to be a big boy, still a baby boy. Getting read to.
Little bitty boy. I want to read these books, but I don't have the time.
Exactly.
So I get a big boy who does have the time.
Much.
Yeah, we do. We gotta get up to other things. So this is a very common, apparently popular theory at this point, and it has to do with.
So you didn't originate this theory.
Well, I came up with it and found out. Yeah,
okay.
It's an original theory to me, and then I found out there was a small community, and then that community has been growing larger and larger since as more books have come out. But it has to do with the lineage of Jon Snow.
Okay, he's not a Stark, or
he isn't. I believe that he is a Stark.
Well, who is the mother then?
Well, that's the thing. I believe that Jon Stark's mother is Lyanna Stark,
the
sister of Ned Stark, Lord Eddard Stark, as you may know him. Old Eddard Stark. Sean Bean, the man,
that's
incredibly famous for dying all
in
the time.
every show.
Every single thing
they say he's died in like 20 something.
I saw
different
a beautiful
programs.
compilation of all of his deaths.
That's awesome.
That guy's died a lot.
One time I was flipping channels and
Were you also flipping your bean?
I was flipping my bean and flipping my channels.
Right.
And, I flipped perfect time and the movie just started, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it opens up and there's Sean Bean and I'm like, oh, shit.
There he is.
Hell yeah, I love Sean Bean.
That guy's an important
I'll
character.
just sit here and watch this movie.
He should definitely play an integral role in what's to come.
He walks around, does some stuff for like 30 seconds, says goodbye to his family, gets in a car, and it explodes.
Well, of course it does.
I was so devastated by this Sean Bean death, and I was like, God damn it.
I have a theory.
He always dies.
I believe that Sean Bean is in fact immortal, and they use the
Those
fact.
are real death.
No, they actually kill him.
Sean, so
yeah, we're gonna fucking kill you, Sean
we're
Bean.
gonna do this, right? Okay.
Sorry, Sean Bean.
So Jon Snow.
Jon Snow
is the rightful king of everything, or
I believe he in fact is what the Song of Ice and Fire is referring to. It's specifically him. A lot of people think it's Daenerys is fire, Jon Snow ice, but I think that Jon Snow technically embodies both because his mother is Lyanna Stark.
Who is
his father is once again Ned's sister.
Isn't that his father, Ned?
Well, that's what Ned has told everybody for Jon's entire life, is that this is my son. Now stick with me on this one. This is where the real thing is, who is Jon Snow's father?
If it's not Ned.
If it's not Ned.
Correct.
My theory is that it is Rhaegar Targaryen.
Right.
Now, for those of you
from back in the day.
Well, he wasn't
the father of Daenerys.
Daenerys' brother, I believe. He was the son of the Mad King, as was Daenerys and Viserys, the little guy who got the crown.
Gold, yes.
Well, God, I'm ruining season 1 for you. I'm so sorry. You're not there yet. But eventually there's going to be a character.
Right.
He's also... They refer to him, I think, a couple times throughout the show. Unimportant. I believe that is Jon Snow's dad.
The guy who gets the gold poured on him?
That's his older brother is Jon Snow's dad. So that would make Dany Jon Snow's uncle. So I think that, because the whole war started because Rhaegar Targaryen kidnapped Lyanna Stark, and then Robert Baratheon was like, "You motherfucker, you're taking my lady. I'm going to war." But I think it was less of a kidnapping and more of a let's run away together. They run away together.
Let's bang it out.
They bang it out. They have Jon Snow. Rhaegar goes off to go fight Robert Baratheon at the Trident, gets murderballed.
Of course.
Ned Stark finds Lyanna. Lyanna's like, "Hey, we have this fucking kid. Don't tell anyone that it's Rhaegar's kid because Robert Baratheon will obviously murder the crap out of it.
Right.
Pretend like he's your kid.
I'm sorry. Some hooker.
I'm really sorry to put you out like this.
Just tell the wife it's all good. Come on, bro. You're my bro, right?
And there's a real common theme in there's a point in season 1, not where it really specifically mentions anything about this whole situation, where they old blind Master Aemon at the Night's Watch brings up. What would Ned Stark do if he was torn between family and honor? And Jon's like, obviously he would pick honor. But then a couple scenes later, he's picking family whenever he's denouncing the truth and declaring Joffrey king. So obviously...
And then getting his head chopped off.
Yeah. And there's a couple scenes in the first book that I'm like, ooh, that might be...
So that was a good episode of... I love Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, this is a great episode of I Love Game of Thrones.
We should go back to... Finally, we got our paper harvested.
Yeah, so we are back.
We got our black water. We got our quills. Mm-hmm. We're ready to start doing some transcribing.
We listened to the whole first Gorilla podcast.
Forward to end to forward.
Yeah, we transcribed it both ways, just in case. Back to forth to back.
Back and forth. So, we have it transcribed now, and that is available for viewing.
Yeah, somewhere. I mean, in my living room. I'm not gonna. Well, I mean, obviously
we worked too hard to let that go out.
Yeah, I can't. Well, we can't just. You have to do. It has to be handwritten copies on each one.
You can take a picture of it with no flash.
Yes, but you have to come to my home. It's gonna be really creepy if they start showing up at my parents' house. That would be amazing. That would be so amazing. They're really nice folks. Just
these are the imaginary listeners, correct?
Yeah, all of the 10 people that will maybe ever hear this.
Possibly. Hey, I wanted to ask you something, Josh.
Let's ask away.
How are things going as DJ Flaky Biscuits with your latest hit single, C-Pop.
Oh, C-Pop. Well, it's been about 10 years since I came out with
that's
C-Pop.
That's true. So, how did that go for you? Did you make, I forget whether it was...
A big hit or not? Is that what you're... Well, okay, well, this... okay, a medium hit or a small hit?
I thought it had a lot of potential.
It definitely did, which is why I actually went to Bono and Bonobos. I went to the guys in U2 and I was like, listen guys, I have this great song, but I'm just unsure of myself. I want to make sure whatever I do is perfect. What advice can you give me? And they're like, oh, well, this is super easy. You're going to want to make about 200 different versions of this one song.
That's right. You're going to want to involve Brian Eno.
They gave Brian Eno flew in that day. Yeah, old Sourpuss showed up and he was like, listen, he was like, listen, guy, you're going to want to put a really bad song somewhere about halfway through the album. He enunciates every letter in it.
Very, very slowly.
It's really weird. So
you just prepare with him.
And so apparently YouTube was like, listen, we just took 10 years to put out an album. If you really want to make a statement, you're going to have to wait at least twice as long as that. And I was like, well...
So you better just work on it.
Yeah, I've been working on it for the last 10 years, just that one song.
You've been just remixing it over and over again.
Yeah. So C-Pop's gotten to work over more than once, obviously. I'm at about 372 takes.
I bet you're driving your studio hands to just crazy.
Oh, they love it. They're the best. They're the best guys.
They just want to do the same thing over and over and over again.
They're small children. Right. I use my family members. You.
We might not want to keep talking about.
Ooh, sorry. Yeah, well, I expect it to drop in about another 10 years.
Okay.
So maybe by the time we put out our next podcast, you guys will be familiar with C-Pop.
And by then, we should just be raking in them.
Oh, well, we might not even do another podcast once C-Pop comes out.
We might be
we'll cover C-Pop.
Making C-Pop remix.
Yeah, C-Pop gear.
C-Pop 2.
C-Pop the musical.
C-Pop Square.
Yeah, ooh, boom. We can get Christopher Nolan and Guy Pearce to make some sort of C-Pop memento
and they
movie.
might, incorporate baking with Crisco and maybe...
Yeah, maybe we can do a whole line of Monty Crisco sandwiches.
Action running through the streets and then cut to a kitchen where Guy Pearce is just holding a pan of beautifully golden
seared
cake.
Yeah, just some sort of edible item. Anything but a Monte Cristo sandwich.
So let's talk about what we're doing tonight.
Oh, yeah, we have a very special episode for you guys that we're, I think, finally about to actually start to get into. We are going to be talking a little bit about, you guessed it, because I know you guys are all thinking it for some reason, which I got to say was kind of strange. Mad Max.
That's right, Fury Road.
We're going to go watch some Fury Road this evening.
We are seeing it. It is a Thursday. The movie does not come out until tomorrow.
I believe there may be some early screenings in places, but...
we are at least going to a special screening that the normal people do not get to go to.
Yeah, very
I want to point that out to all you normal people. You do not get to come to this movie.
We get things you don't.
Mad Max, I only know one thing about it. It has Charlize Theron.
Wow.
And she has a bald head, I believe.
Not quite bald.
And half of a black face.
Okay. I believe
all I know.
some soot on her, like dirt or
all
oils.
The explosions. So this is post-apocalyptic, correct?
Yeah. Are you unfamiliar with the original trilogy?
I'm gonna have to say yes.
Okay. Well, let me give you a quick little rundown.
Let's run it. Let's break it down.
The original Mad Max trilogy. It was 3 movies. The first one was called, you guessed it, Mad Max.
All right.
Came out in 79.
Oh, 1979.
And
1979?
That could have been 1879. I believe it's 1979.
I think maybe it was 1879.
That's possible. This guy does like to take a long time in between his films.
Well, the best things take the longest.
Yeah, well, and if you've ever seen these movies...
You can't rush a fine craftsman.
Yeah, not even...
I'm sorry, his name slips my memory. What was his name?
I believe it's George Miller?
George Miller, okay.
George Miller, if I'm not mistaken. Right. It would be great if I was wrong, but I'm like 99% sure it's George Miller. The original Road Warrior, my opinion, not that great. A lot of people were like, oh, this is the best. Mad Max is played by none other than Mel Gibson. That's right. Hates Jews. So I wonder how Mad Max feels about him, but plays a cop, not quite post-apocalyptic at this point,
on the verge.
It's getting there. There's biker gangs on the loose.
Things have happened. The money system has degraded.
I didn't even know if they really get into it in the first movie.
Has really, you know,
they give the first
apart.
movie a lot more credit than I think
Have
it's
you
due.
recently watched these movies?
Did
Did you like spend hours of your time getting ready for this moment?
Well, I mean,
watching the trilogy of Mad Max.
I've probably seen the trailers at least once sometime in the last 10 years.
Okay.
Just to prep up for this.
I see. You've been, well, while we were
we were busy.
Making paper.
How do you think you just wake up in the morning, watch Mad Max, and then in the afternoon make a little bit of paper? No, it's a morning, noon, and night activity. Like, I listen to my audiobooks, and I would occasionally, during my food and water breaks, watch trailers to movies.
Okay,
That's all the time
so
I had.
that really puts a picture in my head.
Yeah,
of Mad Max.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. First movie, kind of shitty. Mad Max is a cop. Chases down a biker gang. His friends get killed, so he goes and kills the bad guys. And he's
he chases down a biker gang
like on foot at first. It doesn't work out for him.
Okay, so he steals someone's car.
No, they make him a fancy special car. Like, this is our fancy new car, and he takes it.
So he's a cop. This is force duty.
Yeah,
he's working.
Yeah, and then later on, it becomes personal.
And
he goes out for justice.
His family?
His friend, I think, one of his buddies.
One of his cop buddies?
Yeah, one of his cop buddies. There might be a love interest involved.
This is a male?
Male buddy. I mean, I'm not here to question
the way things were in 1979?
Yeah.
Or possibly 1879.
Yeah, 1900 or 1879. Whatever he needed to do is whatever he needed to do.
Well, it's post-apocalyptic. It's the future.
It's almost apocalyptic at this point, I think.
At least 10 years from now.
And then, in 1981, came a little movie called Mad Max 2: The Road Warrior. We catch up to the Max several years in the future.
Okay.
The actual apocalypse is hit at this point.
So he's quit the force.
He quit the force at the end of the first one. He drove off into the sunset, into the outback.
Oh, really? Wow.
Because it's an Australian thing. Well, he killed.
It's in Australia?
He was an Australian actor.
I see.
So it's
Mel Gibson is from Australia.
He is super Australian, if I'm not mistaken. If you watch his early stuff, he's got a bit of an accent there. He does.
Really?
He does.
Well, I'll have to do my research on this.
We might have to have a Mel Gibson podcast one day. He's a beautiful man.
We should just break down every Mel Gibson movie there is.
And all of the times that he's gone crazy.
Exactly. And it will, we finished Ransom, and then we talk about his crazy episode.
Is it right after Ransom?
I don't know, but that was
okay. I was like, was it after Ransom? I thought he did a couple movies after Ransom.
Give me back my son!
Oh, that was the whole movie. That was good.
That was the only part.
Spoiler alert, Jason.
Jesus.
Amateur hour.
So, Road Warrior, he's down the line 7 years, 10 years, 12 years.
Rolling on a solo at this point.
And he's got a mohawk.
No.
Shoulder pads with spikes coming out of it.
That would actually be the bad guys.
I see. Okay.
I know that it's hard. I mean, it looks a lot like Mel Gibson.
When I picture Mel Gibson, I always picture him
with football shoulder pads on,
hating Jews.
Right, of course.
Shoulder pads with spikes and a mohawk.
Right. So he's got like a swastika.
And screaming about his son being missing.
Where's my son? I hate the Jews probably took him.
That's right.
Mel Gibson, you zany
anti-Semite?
Anti-Semite, is
That's
that right?
the word you're looking for.
I think I was going to try to say something with a Z.
Oh,
yeah. It's not right. So in this one, gasoline is a big deal. Everyone's like, we gotta go get the gasoline. We gotta keep the gasoline.
Water World situation.
Almost. Very similar.
Water. How about water? Lots of water floating about?
I don't believe they really go into the fact. I feel like the new movie is going to be a lot more about water.
Okay. Well,
whereas this one was a lot more about gasoline.
Okay.
So he runs into a small township, and they have a good portion of gasoline.
All right. They sell it, or people just?
They just have it.
They actually use it.
They use it to buy protection from the marauders nearby. This guy with like a Jason hockey mask and like alopecia, so he only has like a couple strings of hair out of his head, and other than that, he's perfectly hairless.
That sounds awesome.
The good guys have a little kid with like a bladed
boomerang?
Boomerang, yeah.
So it comes back and slices their hand off?
Yeah, one guy actually gets all of his fingers sliced off trying to catch it.
What an idiot.
The lackey guy. He was like, I got it! And gets his hand, and everyone laughs at him for
So we're going to go watch this movie tonight?
Oh, well, we're watching Fury Road tonight.
Oh, so this is going to be the fourth installment.
Yeah, this is the fourth installment, done by the same guy.
So he must be like 200 years old by now.
I believe he's a lich, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay. Well,
he's a lot like Voldemort,
right?
Where
right.
he has a series of phylacteries.
I believe you're not supposed to say that out loud.
Well, now that he's dead, I think you can talk about all you want.
I see. So
now that they've made this documentary, Harry Potter, about the demise of Voldemort, you can talk about it.
I haven't watched that doc yet, but I really want to. Because I hear that actuality, they're all just in an insane asylum, and that whole thing is going on in this little boy's head.
Well, I heard that
the documentary kind of is just the boy sitting in a room telling you what is happening in his brain, all about the school of magic and all these different wizards and games and this lich character, and it just did like a 7-hour interview.
I believe it's like a historical fiction. It's based around real events, but it's mildly exaggerated. I believe it's loosely based on the Civil War.
All right. Well,
if I'm not mistaken, it happened around the same time period.
Two totally different views on Harry Potter.
Well, I mean, it's a lot like Game of Thrones theories. There's a lot out there.
There's true.
Maybe.
But you know what? Back to I Love Game of Thrones. Your theory. Really, I like it.
It's a good little theory.
It makes me want to watch Game of Thrones
in reverse.
I'm on like season 8, going backwards.
Right.
So I want to get there.
So I'm just to make sure. Season 8 is out now.
It's been out for a while.
Because it's been 10 years.
Yeah, it's been out for a while. Yeah. It's taken me a while to get there.
Right.
I'm behind, of course.
Okay. Well, it happens.
So they have a bunch of gasoline at this town.
Mm-hmm.
And
they try to take it.
They're like,
we're going to take this gasoline, we're going to leave these marauders, and we're done. I think it's pretty similar to this. It's been a really long time since I've seen this.
Okay.
Keep in mind. But the marauders show up and they're like, you're trying to take our gasoline. I don't think that's not okay. We had an agreement. We terrorize you. You give us gasoline. What's the problem here?
Yeah. Well, so they don't want to give it up.
Yeah, absolutely not. This is their gasoline. So they show up on an obscene amount of cars. They're like wasting gasoline getting there. They should have just brought one vehicle.
One big giant truck with all their gasoline away in.
A very fuel efficient,
they brought
solar powered vehicle.
Cars.
But instead they were like, let's just.
And they rev their engines a lot.
Jeff, we're here because we have gasoline problems, man.
What are you doing over there?
Yeah,
Jeff?
Are your shoulder pads too tight?
Every time we bring this guy, he revs his engine all loud, wasting all of our fuel.
You have any idea how hard it is to repair those carburetors?
Jesus.
God damn it, Jeff. No water for you today. And you're our rape meal tonight. Because everyone knows marauders have rape meals.
I see. That's just that's the thing we do. I think you really need to wrap this.
Well, there's a third movie called Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome.
What is a Thunderdome?
It is a fighting arena.
Okay, is this something that you may have left out of the second movie?
It doesn't show up in the second movie.
So it's the
whole new thing.
What is that crazy sound?
That is the alarm letting us know we have
shut the fuck up.
15 minutes to go watch this awesome movie. But,
okay, so the Thunderdome is introduced in return to the Thunderdome.
No, well, beyond.
Oh, it's beyond.
Beyond Thunderdome.
So by this point, Mad Max, that's his name, correct?
Right. Well, it's like Max.
He's been
kidnapped
and locked into this fighting arena where he has to fight because he's a slave. And during the time he's not fighting, he's like doing other menial tasks, yard work, and going to the grocery store and
I'm gonna say out loud,
paying the water bill, and
I'm gonna say out loud, that sounds like an amazing movie, and I don't know why that wasn't the plot of the third movie. Maybe we need to make a Mad Max film.
We should make Mad Max 3.5. It's in between Beyond Thunderdome and Fury Road.
Where all he does is just menial tasks.
But he's all dirty and covered in dirt.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's
and
a pretty
he's got all
dirty
his
place.
gear on, and he's got his pistols and his gasoline.
And he's like, let me water these plants.
And he's just doing housework.
I'm going to sweep the floor for 5 minutes.
It's post-apocalyptic, but they have kind of calmed down a little bit. People started like, okay, there's not much of us left. Let's just get along. I'm going to be over here. You're going to be over there.
Fix this roof.
Yeah, I'm going to fix up this, and you're going to fix up that. If you need Mel Gibson over here, we'll send him over to do some yard work.
Yeah, maybe he'll just have a good conversation with you.
Yeah. So
how's your day?
Right.
We can get Quentin Tarantino to direct that.
I think he would.
Yeah.
We should pitch this to him.
The hardest part.
He's probably listening. So
yeah. Well,
Quentin,
if you're not busy.
Get on writing the screenplay for this
with your Hateful Eight movie, which still hasn't come out.
Yeah, when are you going to
Yeah, it's been 10 years since I've seen a new Quentin Tarantino movie since we had those poultries. The Django. I actually just watched Django today in celebration of finishing the Paper Tree.
That's good.
Project.
You just finished the Paper Tree project today?
Well, I mean, I put the final period on the transcripts this morning.
Right. That's right.
I proofread them and I was like, good.
These are good.
Yeah, we can do the podcast tonight. It's fine.
Okay.
It's gonna be a bitch to get the next one out there. Right? I don't know.
This is really
we're talking way too much. I'm gonna write all these words down.
Yeah, there's no long pauses. It's just kind of.
So
riff-raff.
So rough. So
what happens? Let me stop you, Josh.
Okay.
What happens in the Thunderdome?
He fights this giant mongoloid who is controlled-ish, very similar to a Manny Mayweather or Floyd Pacquiao character.
I see.
He's called Master Blaster, and he's a tiny little midget that rides on a big dude.
That's awesome.
He's like, Master Blaster runs Gadget Town.
And he controls this big monster?
He basically tells it what to do, and it does what it's told.
Dude, that would be a great D&D character.
And Tina Turner's like, I don't know how I feel about it. Oh, she shows up.
That's crazy.
She's the opposition to Master Blaster in Bartertown.
It's been 10 years, but I was wondering...
Embargo lifted.
I was wondering about this person that you mentioned last time, JT Streets.
Oh, JT Streets.
I was wondering...
Taking it to the streets.
Is this taking it to the streets?
Are we taking it to the streets right now?
We're taking it to the streets.
Taking it to
I think this might have to be our last segment.
Right.
Because we need to get up in the old car and go to the old
in fact, I think maybe we pause it on Taking It to the Streets.
Taking It to the Streets is where we're going to stop.
And we're going to come back.
Okay.
After we finish watching this. We're gonna finish up in the streets, and then we're gonna break this movie down. Play scene by scene, second by second.
Every single word, gonna break it down.
All right, now word from our non-existent sponsors. Hey there, folks, looking to do something this weekend? You adventurous type? You mildly in shape or not in shape at all? Do you have gout? It doesn't matter. Come on down to Predator Paintball. $15 with the Groupon discount, and we will get you entry. You guys will be able to get a gun, not even parts of the gun, the whole gun, and all day air. That's right, they'll keep your gun all aired up. It's a lot of fun. Shoot your friends, shoot people that you've never met before, shoot your teammates and watch them get upset at you. Once a quarter, they have event days, which are a big blast, 30-minute long games, and you're on the same team all day long. You can also have birthday parties, private parties. The Spurs go out there on occasion. So tell you what, go on down. You go up to the owner and you tell them, hey, JB and JB said that you would give us the Groupon rate if we came down there and asked for it. So that's why we're here, because of JB and JB. It's on Bandera Road, outside of 1604. Look it up on your old Google phones and your iPads and your head implants. And, maybe you just have like a really old map that somebody crudely drew on a napkin at Jim's. I don't give a shit. Just come on down to Predator Paintball and play.
Welcome back to Taking It to the Streets. We just got back from some Fury Road, Mad Max, out of the Thunderdome.
Quite furious.
And we are going to break it down.
Beyond Thunderdome is what he meant to say, but he hasn't seen those movies, so we forgive him.
You know what? Let me stop you.
Okay.
I didn't intro you.
Oh.
Right now I'm here.
Oh,
JB.
well, I guess. Okay.
I'm here with JB.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead, JB. Tell me.
Sorry, JB. I didn't mean to.
It's okay. We got to make sure we get our intros in.
You're right. Obviously, that was JB talking, and this is JB.
Right. But we're in the streets.
Yep.
We're taking it to the streets.
So, we're going to finish up taking it to the streets first.
Of course.
And then we'll jump over to some furious roading.
All right.
Talk about that. But let me give you an update. JT Streets and I hung out this last week. It was fun. Told him about the old cast. He provided me with some information.
Ah, the quest.
You
called it cast, and I didn't know what that meant.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm weird that obviously
you're talking about the quest.
We're talking about a pod quest here,
Correct.
not a podcast. I didn't mean to confuse you. Gave me some information. It's French information. But every time JT...
We need to get a translator.
Yeah, I apologize. Sometimes I jump in other languages.
It's alright. I just think that we need a translator for the French information.
Okay, well, anyway, so I was talking about some information. And invited him on. Maybe one day we can get something set up with him. He is definitely open to the idea. So we can get some taken to the streets with JT Streets actually with JT Streets.
And we will be in the street.
We're probably going to do that
Most
on
likely.
a street. Yeah.
Going to stop traffic.
Mm-hmm.
Going to get some cones, and we're going to hire a couple of off-duty cops to direct cars around us.
Yeah, as you usually see at churches.
We have lots of signs, no honking.
We could get like a localized EMP pulse just in various areas around our podcast.
Cut everything off.
Yeah, I mean, except for us. We'd be in some sort of lead-based
bubble system.
Yeah, obviously.
Right, obviously.
Nothing ridiculous.
No.
Just
So, let's talk about Mad Max.
Oh, okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about old Maddie Max. Let's start with this question. Where were you when you first heard of Mad Max?
That is a really, really good question.
Right?
I think I was probably at my home
Mm-hmm.
with my friends
Mm-hmm.
and my family.
Okay. Were your dogs there?
No.
Okay.
No dogs. It was probably
Mm-hmm.
on television.
That makes a lot of sense. When you're at the house and you see Mad Max, usually it's on television. You don't see him in books a lot. You don't see him in photographs of your family.
Nope.
Usually. Unless you were, say, related to Mel Gibson. Or now Tom Hardy.
Or Bane.
Or, if you're just related to Bane, the non-fictional supervillain that also has a character based on him in the Batman universe.
Ah.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
it's either here or there.
Yeah. Okay, so interesting. So that's good. That's good. What did you think of the feature, my friend? What did you think of this fancy? I would like to point out again, we did not watch this movie like normal people. There was about 6 other people in the audience with us, and this movie does come out tomorrow. So by the time you're listening to this, maybe about 10 years ago. 10 years ago, probably makes sense. So this is 10 years ago, Mad Max, which you can now watch on your brain implants. So I would recommend looking at that cult classic, Fury Road, if they have it available for brain implants, of course. Jason, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Let's start off. I have a question about Fury Road.
Okay, you got questions? I got answers. Let's see what. Hopefully they're correct.
Mad Max was a regular guy.
Mm-hmm.
He used to be a cop.
He was a cop, yeah.
So in this movie that we just watched,
he
was a cop previously to this world he was in. And I felt like this movie was taking place 1,000 years after the apocalypse happened.
Well, here's the thing.
You know, 'cause they had this extravagant setup, all these cars. Can I just tell you that those old women who were dirt biking down the mountain
probably
were
the best
ridiculous.
favorite part of the movie to me. Keep going.
When they disrobed their masks, turns out they were tiny old women with gray hair and wrinkly faces, and they were dirt biking like grown men. And it was just sexist, but
that was very and ageist. 2 things. Here's a whole bundle.
I felt like
any of our older female listeners. I just let you know.
I'm sorry.
If you engage in motocross, I support you. 110%.
I support granny motocross. Well, let me go back to my previous
You're being. I'm sorry. You were getting sexist.
Those dirt biking grannies were the shit.
Oh, they were the best.
I was just trying to say that it was unbelievable, but they were really intense
But they do pay in cash.
But anyways, back to the grannies on dirt bikes.
Grannies on dirt bikes.
They were examining these young women, and they're like, "She has all her teeth, and look at my bag of seeds," like they had been in the apocalypse for hundreds of years. See, this is where I'm thrown off by the timeline.
My gathering of information, this is what I theorize is going on. Definitely this movie takes place in the Mad Maxian timeline.
Correct.
This is chronologically movie 4, and it's not like a prequel.
Has happened.
Yeah,
Road Warrior has happened.
Yeah, it looks like they just continuing the story. It's not a reboot or anything weird like that, which I'm pretty glad about. They kind of give you a little recap at the beginning with that little monologue, which is really, I like it because they got a lot of the trailer stuff, the first couple minutes of the actual movie itself, with a couple snippets throughout, which really didn't give away any.
Right, just action shots, which was all the movie was basically. Yeah. You know, it had a good flow.
It was good. I liked it.
I mean, it was cheesy, but I was entertained.
Yeah, well, you knew it was going to be cheesy if you watched the trailer.
Right, yeah.
They showed the flamethrower guitarist in the trailer.
That was so awesome.
30% of the movie was this flamethrower guitarist.
He was just in this red onesie, and he had this crazy face.
I just found my Halloween costume.
And his guitar was a double-necked guitar, so that's 12 strings he's working with.
Right.
And not to mention, it had a flamethrower.
Right at the tip. And he's blind. He's no eyes.
No, he didn't have eyes.
Oh, well, later on, whenever he's on the thing. Oh, he's like a horrible slave thing.
Yeah, but he knows how to jam.
That's it.
You know,
that's his universe.
They call him Jimmy.
Jimmy! Did they call him Jimmy?
They did, yeah, they call him Jimmy.
Maybe that was Jimi Hendrix.
I think so.
Jesus. Is that what's happened to him?
Yeah, that's what happened.
Jimi Hendrix, who is a famous guitarist, for those of you who do not know, part of the 27 Club.
Indeed he is.
Yeah, he's a part of the 27 Club. Various musicians who were amazing but all died at the age of 27 theorized to have sold their soul to the devil for a 27 quote-unquote deal.
27 deal. Talk more about this.
Like you get to be famous. Okay, devil approaches you at the age of 18. Hey, what's up, kiddo?
Is it always specifically 18?
Well, I mean, I'm just giving. This is hypothetical for you.
For me.
Yeah. Could be a number of ages. You're 18. 18-year-old Jason. You're a little boy. Now. You're just getting on the cusp of becoming a big boy.
Okay.
And
in a big city.
Yeah, you're possibly in a medium-sized city.
Okay.
You know, I don't know what stage you are.
The devil's coming up to me.
He walks up to you.
Hey,
like,
JB.
Hey there, JB. It's old L. I don't know what Lucifer's last name is. Is that weird?
Satan?
Is that bad? Is it Lucifer Satan?
I think maybe it is.
Hey, it's LS. You know,
LS.
Lucifer, Mephisto, Satan. That's his middle name is Mephisto.
Nice to meet you,
yeah.
Mephisto. What did you say, Mephisto?
That's my middle name is Mephisto.
Ah, well, I'm going to call you M.
Okay, that's kind of hip and cool. I might start going by that. Thanks. Right, I'm going to take that, and I appreciate it.
Use on your next victim.
I'm gonna. Wow, that's not the word we use, but
excuse me. I'm new here.
No, it's fine. I get it. I got a bad rap. You know, lots of people think of old M as being a bad guy. But let me tell you something.
Okay.
Not a bad guy.
Let me listen. Here. I'll listen to what you have to say.
So I got this here deal. I've been giving this deal out for the last several hundred years.
All right.
I'm going to give you fame.
Okay.
I'm going to give you some fortune.
All right.
Right? You're going to be a big star.
Okay.
But it's only going to last to the age of 27, and you die then.
Okay.
I get your soul at that point.
And then...
Bada bing, bada boom.
We're in hell hanging out.
Yeah. Bing, bong, boom, you come down here.
But I get to be there. Do I already know about Jimmy and Janice and...
if you have any questions about them, I'm as the devil, as Satan, I can answer that question for you right now.
Are we going to be hanging out, all of them, you know? Once
usually,
once I'm there?
Well, my VIPs...
Right. Am I going to be one of the VIPs?
Oh, well, I don't make deals with non-VIPs. All my deal makers get their own special.
I see.
Spot. It's still pretty unpleasant. I'm not gonna lie about it.
Deeper or is it less deep?
That's actually a good question. I don't really know. A lot of people think it's spherical. I'm assuming you're thinking like
underground.
It's not.
I prefer to let's think of it in terms of underground.
Okay. Well, that's a little rude. And I don't appreciate you stereotyping me like that. I don't live in the center of the earth, but that's what you're goddamn thinking. You know what, Jason? This is very indicative of the way you behave, and this is probably why you're going to go to hell anyway. I mean, you're mean to old ladies. You're mean to women. You don't think they can ride dirt bikes down fucking... You know what? The deal's off. You don't get anything. No. You get no fame. You get no fortune. You're probably going to die early, too. You know what? How about a little gout foot, Jason?
You're going to give me the gout foot.
You're going to get gout foot now.
Damn it.
And you're going to keep track of your gout count.
Oh, my gout count, please.
You know what I mean? I'm leaving. I'm going to go
You think counting calories is hard? Try counting gout.
Oh, I have. It's hell.
7.9.
But anyway, I'm going to leave. Good luck. Good luck to that.
And now I'm 29, watching Mad Max. I'm not famous. I don't have any money.
Jason,
all I got is my PodQuest, and it, frankly...
Jason, JB. It's JB again. I'm back.
JB's back.
How did your conversation with the devil go? How did your hypothetical conversation with the devil go?
It didn't go well. Number one, I didn't speak nicely about his home.
Oof. Well,
And
did you say that he lived in the center of the earth?
I referenced that he might be underground.
Oh, you know he hates that.
I didn't know that. So
maybe next time it'll work out.
And
a little better
then
for you.
he got offended, and we tangented off about something else. We started talking about something, and then he was like, "Back to business here."
He's a businessman.
He is, and you know what? By the end of the conversation, I pretty much ruined my chance, and I didn't get the deal.
Well, at least something bad happened to you. That's
Back
good.
to present day.
Okay.
It's been 10 years.
Could have been worse
since our last podcast.
Yeah, it has.
And if I had gotten that deal, I would have been dead before the paper was made.
That's true. You wouldn't have been able to help me.
I would not be here watching Mad Max.
I'm really glad that you didn't take that deal, Jason.
Yeah, well, I missed out on the fame.
Yeah.
And I missed out on the money.
Yeah, well, it didn't work out great for...
Maybe I could join the 37 Club. Is that a thing?
We can look into it.
Well, we can start it.
Famous people who have died at the age of 37.
In 10 years from now, I will have a list prepared for the next podcast.
Yeah, we can do extensive research.
Famous people who died at 37.
Now that the internet exists.
The internet does exist. And you know what? By the time that we do our next podcast, the supernet will exist.
Oh,
so
man.
Then we'll be really doing business.
That's something I've been looking forward to for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, another quick, interesting little thing. You may or probably do not know about it because you've never even seen the old movies. The guy who played Immortal Joe.
Okay.
He is the
big, slimy, fat bastard.
Yeah, the big bad guy in this one. He's actually the same guy who played the bad guy in the first movie. Forget the name of his character, but he was a real dick. And the movie
same
ends.
Actor?
Yeah, same actor.
Okay.
And the movie ends with him handcuffed to a car.
I see.
With a lighter and a trail of gasoline kind of thing.
So he's about to explode.
Well, yeah, Mel Gibson set it up to where he's gonna blow up.
Again.
And he handcuffed his leg to the car. Yeah, well, I mean, the leg is generally attached.
No, legs and feet are not attached.
Okay, yeah, well, maybe one left leg, right foot kind of situation.
Right.
But in this situation, no, it was just foot to car that's about to blow up. And he leaves him a hacksaw, and he's like, or some kind of saw, I don't remember the exact nature. It could have been
I believe a hacksaw is a proper term.
Yeah, well, I mean, it could have been like a bandsaw. I don't know what kind of saw it is. There's a lot. Like, maybe he had an electrical saw.
Are we talking about saws?
Are we on sawing it up?
Why was he, in the beginning of the movie, he could barely stand.
Right.
They had to help him out of his chair.
Right.
Put his uniform on for him. He was having trouble talking to the masses. And then by the end of the movie, he's driving race cars and jumping off mountains and murdering people. And I was just thrown off by I thought that he was all like old and decrepit and he wouldn't be able to do anything. And then all of a sudden he's out busting heads on the highway. And furthermore, Charlie Theron only had one arm, which I didn't even know about until the middle of the movie.
Well, let me retort.
I'm sorry, I went off on the tangent.
No, it's good.
I shouldn't have gone off topic.
I get it.
And started talking about Mad Max.
Yeah, we're talking about Mad Max.
We're trying to talk about songs. We're trying to talk about all these other really
important things about Mad Max. But if you want to talk about these trivial Mad Max questions, we can go into this instead of talking about bandsaws. That's fine.
Okay, fine.
Listeners probably want to know. They want to know about bandsaws in regards to Mad Max. But if you want to ask these stupid questions about the characters on the goddamn movie, I'll answer them real fast.
Okay,
it's super easy.
Sorry.
Let's do reverse order. Charlize Theron's arm. Yeah, they pretty much established in the first shot with her in it that she has a robot hand.
Okay, I totally missed that.
Oh, it's pretty. It's just like, hey, look at my robot hand. I definitely have a robot hand.
I don't know why.
This is my robot hand.
Wasn't able to see her steampunk arm. I just didn't see it.
It was a pretty awesome hand, though.
I only didn't notice until she got up off the whatever because some sort of crazy incident happened on the road.
Right.
And her mechanical arm was missing, and it was just a nub, and I was like, what the fuck happened to her arm?
Wow. Even the beginning of that shot shows her arm hanging on the side of the car while she's standing next to it.
Yeah, it came to me later. I saw the hanging arm, and it had me going for a second.
Yeah. Well, she definitely had a robot hand the whole time. As far as the damage done, like why he's all fucked up, that actually
Are we talking about Immortal Joe now?
Immortal Joe, jumping over to Immortal Joe.
Okay.
For the moment. quick side comment. As much as you may discriminate against women and old people, hold on.
Sexist.
But you definitely seem to be okay with people with prosthetics and things like that. You don't even notice it. You don't have a filter. That seems to be perfectly okay. People with like one arm driving a truck, you don't even notice that they don't have a fucking arm. You're just like, yeah, that's fine, whatever. Person driving a truck.
It's a normal person.
She is a young, possibly male, because she looked pretty butch. That dude driving the truck with one arm looks pretty rowdy. Like, I can get on board with this. Oh, dude with one arm driving a truck, perfectly fine.
Yeah, I thought it was a man the whole time. The short hair.
Yeah. And then old ladies show up on a couple motorcycles, and you're like, whoa, now we're stretching the boundaries of believability, folks. Like, flamethrower guitar guy, awesome. Old ladies on motorcycle, kind of weird.
But old ladies on motorcycles just... it took me out of the movie, and I just didn't care.
You fell asleep after that?
I did. I fell asleep for the last 75 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, that's about how long it was after they showed up. Immortal Joe, I think that's the same character from the first movie. I think it's not just the same actor. He had the option, and then he throws in the saw that we had talked about previously.
Is this like a Walking Dead situation with Merle on the
Kind
roof?
of, except he's a lot more, he's like, listen, it'll take you about 10 minutes to saw through that handcuff, and about 5 minutes to saw through your leg. Good luck. And then he just kind of walks away, gets in his car, and drives off, and then there's an explosion sometime after in the background.
This is when he's riding into the sunset?
Yes, or possibly sunrise. I'm not sure what time of day it was. Definitely hating Jews, though.
Waving Zeke Heils up
Zeke Heils! That wasn't me, that was a quote of
Hitler?
Either a Nazi or possibly Mel Gibson. I mean, that's a speculative quote.
Mel Gibson's going to hear our podcast.
Oh, he's an avid listener. Oh, I'm sure old Melly Gibbs has a good sense of humor about it. I'm sure it's not like it ruined his career or anything.
No, he's more famous than him.
Oh, God, who hasn't heard of old Melly Gibbs?
We're actually, our next podcast is going to be on the newest and latest Mel Gibson movie.
Oh.
Which is coming out in like a week.
Is this real?
What, the Mel Gibson movie?
Yeah.
No,
oh, shit. Oh, wow. I'm in the movie theater business, and I believed you, because I don't pay attention to mainstream movies. I was like, shit, Mel Gibson's actually coming out with a movie?
He does
after the Beaver?
6 months.
That's weird. Anyway, so I think it's the same character. I think he got pretty fucked up in that explosion, but survived, and went on to create his own little crazy society, which kind of brings it full round. He runs into Max again, doesn't know it's Max because he doesn't give a shit anymore.
But I don't know why he was so unable to stand.
Well, that's a simple answer.
Tell me.
And I'm going to answer that with some song lyrics for you, buddy.
Okay, let's hear them.
That's the power of love. That guy.
I fully understand now.
Yeah.
But you know what, Josh?
No further explanation needed.
I think to refer back to part 1 of this podcast.
Uh-huh.
You had said that water would be a big factor in this movie, and I think we really need to talk about the water in this movie.
Yeah.
So why don't you, for the listener, lay out the scene of the system in which water is delivered to the folks of the Citadel, which is the capital, I assume.
Well, it's the bad guys' main cities, I guess.
The bad guys' fortress.
Yeah, it's fortress of not so solid.
This is the bad guy being
Immortal Joe.
Immortal Joe, that's correct.
There are 2 scenes in which we see, well, I guess 3 scenes with water, really, in the whole movie, where water plays any form of role. 2 scenes, I think, that you were talking about.
Correct.
The first scene is with Immortal Joe, who gives a little speech to the masses about how they're about to go do a supply run and pick up some stuff from Bullet Town and wherever the
Gasland.
Yeah, who cares? And like Vegetable Township, who cares? Who cares where they go? Does a little show for the folks, and he's like, I'm gonna give him some water.
Yeah, so he's up in a big giant cliff face.
Yeah,
they're like cylinders of earth arose from the ground straight up.
Right. In Australia somewhere. And there's a couple of them, and he's in one, and there's an opening with a skull face. Yeah, skull face opening.
Standing in the mouth.
Probably natural. Probably a natural structure.
And there are some large water pipes.
3
to be exact.
Yeah.
Probably 10 feet wide each.
Oh, probably. I would
Maybe
guess
even
probably
bigger.
closer to like 30
They were
feet
gigantic.
diameter.
So they are under him. Now,
Yeah.
Now you take over, sir.
So he reaches to his sides, 2 levers, the perfect distribution system for 3 pipes is the 2 lever system.
That's right. That's always been.
Yeah, that's the way it's
to do
always
things.
been. Every time you see 3 pipes, there's 2 levers.
Right.
Hands down, the way to do it. So he pushes the levers forward, and large,
Gush. of
yeah,
water.
gushing water, like no control whatsoever, just then spewing out of these 3 holes, down onto the masses, hundreds and hundreds of feet below.
Yes, and let me pause you.
Mm.
They are hundreds of feet below, and the water coming out of these pipes is massive. And I literally, at this moment, the movie's been on for 20 minutes, I think he's going to murder all of these people.
Oh yeah, like anyone
is my
directly
assumption.
beneath it is dead on impact. But the people seem to know the system, so they're standing a ways back. Gigantic crowd of humans stretches back several football fields. They all have buckets of various sizes. Some of them have these contraptions on their back, just kind of like, I guess like large jugs they wear as backpacks. Giant camelbacks, basically.
With a large opening.
Yeah, a large opening at the top.
Catch water.
And they basically, the water hits, then they run up while the water is pouring on the ground. Now, the only area that's accessible to get the water is right at the lip. It's about, I don't know, like 100 feet long, but there's just this giant waterfall falling on the ground, and no one could possibly stand underneath it and survive.
But in the movie, it shows not very much water coming down. It's
Yeah.
like rain
yeah,
almost.
yeah, like
When
once
in
you
fact,
cut
it should
sequence,
be a giant mass and wall just crushing these people to death.
yes.
And they stand under it and dance and hold their buckets and cheer. And their water is just flowing onto the ground and
Yeah,
making
it's-
this giant mud pool. And they're just,
Pretty wasteful.
yes, very wasteful. So, the water's flowing for about 30 seconds.
Yeah, he does not let it go for very long, but I mean, obviously at this point, you realize that's part of the show. He even says a little thing at the end, like, don't become,
Addicted to the water.
yeah, dependent or whatever it was.
So he cuts the water off. The people start fighting in the pool, trying to lap up the muddy water and fill their wicker baskets. None of this is working. And at the same time, the one-armed man, Charles Theron, he's leaving the camp in search of supplies, taking the fuel rig out of the Citadel with a convoy. They leave, and everyone kind of goes back to doing their thing. They
Yeah,
just-
the rest of the movie happens,
yeah.
and then, spoiler alert, at the end, the new emperor, all hail the great Charles Theron, great man.
Great man, great man.
Great man. Really bold of Charlize Theron playing a male role.
Yeah,
I thought that was a bold decision for her.
the one arm is really what really set it off
Yeah,
for me.
yeah.
And I was like, there's no way that this girl could have one arm.
Yeah.
It's got to be a guy with one arm.
Yeah, obviously, only men can lose arms.
That's right.
That was definitely a rule somewhere.
So let's do a quick synopsis of Mad Max Fury Road.
Mm-hmm.
Mad Max is doing his thing. He
Right.
gets captured.
Oh, that's the worst.
Then he turns into a blood bag.
Uh-huh.
He's strapped to the front of this drug addict's car.
Right.
When Charles Theron decides not to go pick up supplies.
Yeah, Charles there.
To transport stolen cargo that you don't know about
Yeah.
into the sandstorm,
Right.
the armies of the Citadel race to chase them.
Yep.
Bane is strapped to the front of this
Oh,
car,
that's the
blood
worst.
being
Oh,
sucked
no.
out of his body.
My blood.
There's about a 4-hour chase.
Yeah,
where
that's-
several vehicles are exploded, cars are crashed, and people somehow live through these crashes.
Yeah, there's a guitar player too.
There's
whole
a guitar
time.
player about 30% of that 4 hours.
And his onesie.
In his onesie. So,
About 40 minutes in.
Bane and this crazy drug addict, the Blood Receiver, are basically teaming up with Charles Theron.
Old Charlie.
They learn about the cargo, which is the stolen daughters
Yeah, a bunch of chicks.
from Immortal Joe. Bunch of hot girls in lacy outfits.
Yeah.
They are introduced when they're being sprayed with water.
Yeah, that was the other water
That
scene.
was the
We're
last
just like,
water
oh,
scene.
Yeah, like Charles.
Totally unimportant.
Yeah, Charlie.
Although
Theron was just like, yeah, just use the water.
Just
whatever.
use this water. Just waste this water.
Spray yourself
wash
down.
ourselves.
I'm
in
perfectly
hot
fine with you wasting our water.
So, although that scene ended with a really cool fight where what did they call that boy? That white boy? That
Nux.
Where Nux and Bane were strapped together with a chain, and they're both fighting Charles Theron, and it's like, they're all fighting each other. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
That was entertaining.
Yeah, Charlie Thayers did a real good job.
They go chase some more. There's lots of this and that, and riff and raff, chasing each other all around the desert. Finally, they decide, you know what? We met up with these Granny motorcycle gang. We're going to turn around, and we're going to go head on and fuck these motherfuckers up.
Mm-hmm.
So they find them on the road. There's another chase, another fight, another battle, lots more guitar playing.
That's about an hour and 30 minutes.
Right, okay.
Right.
So finally at the end, a couple of the daughters end up dying. And
I think it was just the one, actually.
Was it just the one?
Yeah.
Actually, that was
just
the
one that slips. No, they were all wives.
They were all wives?
Yeah, all of those were breeders.
Well, I keep calling them daughters.
Yeah, I didn't want to correct you because.
Well, who can follow this crazy movie?
Yeah, well, I can. I knew when you had gotten incorrect, but keep going.
Well, you know what, man?
I know how many of them lived.
They were like so young. I thought they were his daughters.
But I did enjoy how we both laughed pretty hard when that chick died.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I'm okay. I just went through this traumatic crash,
Yeah.
but I'm all right. And then I slip on my bloody leg.
And you know what sucks?
And then my husband runs me over.
You know what really sucked?
What really sucked?
Max did that.
On purpose?
No, definitely not on purpose.
But it happened.
It was his fault that happened.
Oh, because he was driving?
Because he shot her in the leg, and she slipped on the blood from the leg.
He did shoot her in the leg like a.
Yeah, that was a very. The whole
subtle little treats.
Well, the whole movie was for Max. The whole theme was. I'm sorry if
he hallucinates a lot.
Oh yeah, he had a lot of.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
crazy fast.
Saves him once.
He gets shot in the hand.
Yeah, and in the head simultaneously.
Yeah, it's true.
And
he had to pull it out of his head.
Yeah. Ow.
But by the end of the movie,
it's all about.
They come back to the Citadel.
How he can.
They've got Immortal Joe's dead body.
Save people.
What?
I'm talking in between your words.
What are you saying?
For him, it was very much a lot of past regrets about all the people we couldn't save.
Oh, we're still talking about Bane.
I'm talking about Bane.
Okay.
Yeah, old Baney Bane.
This is talking about Bane.
Talking about Bane.
Talking about Bane.
Talking about Bane.
In the third Batman movie, Bane, what was he doing? He was fighting Batman because...
I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong on this one, Jason, I believe the third Batman movie is actually a sequel to the fourth Mad Max film.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
it all makes so much sense.
Yeah, see, that's where a lot of people get confused. I think that the entire apocalypse actually just takes place in Australia.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So over in Gotham City.
Yeah, but at this, okay, let me.
Mad Max is like, you know what? Fuck this desert.
Yeah, just to give you like a perspective on it. The one movie we just saw,
Mad Max Fury Road.
Right, Fury Road takes place at about the same time as Batman Begins.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
at that
so
like
Scarecrow.
Boom, same thing. Scarecrow. Ra's al Ghul.
Right, Ra's al Ghul
doing his thing. And Ra's al Ghul obviously not paying attention to what Bane's doing over in Australia because he's busy in Gotham.
Mel Gibson's over there.
Yeah, Mel Gibson's handling his business.
Got shoulder pads on.
Boom, one shoulder pad.
Just one.
And on the right side, he had a single. I kept an eye out for football shoulder pads because that was a huge thing in the original.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they all wore football shoulder pads.
Because of how shitty and old it was?
Yeah, they're like, we can afford...
It was 1879, they just invented shoulder pads.
Oh, yeah, man, 1879, yeah. Football just got started up. I'm sorry, football. Football. American football.
So then Bane just kind of leaves.
Yeah.
And then he's Bane.
Yeah.
So you were saying that before he was Bane, or I don't know, he could have been Bane.
Yeah.
He was getting shot in his hand.
Yeah.
He was having hallucinations.
Yeah.
The theme was what now? You
may
have already said this, but
the whole thing with Max in this movie is it's that sense of can't really save anybody. He talks about how
the people he lost.
Yeah, he talks about all the people that he couldn't save. Like those hallucinations were people who have died.
Right. That
he promises, like, hey, you're not gonna die, swearsies, and I'm like, oh crap, they totally died. My bad. No, he gets reduced to this base instinct of survival, in this film. The third movie, I did not mention, actually ends with him also like in a desert by himself, and he just kind of walks off into the
sunset.
Probably away from the sun because it was pretty hot.
Right, yeah, you want to stay in the shade.
Yeah, he had learned his lesson by then.
Yeah,
he's like, no, I don't like the sun so much. Makes me clammy. Yeah, so I feel like this movie, you see a lot of that in his hallucinations, his flashbacks. And then you have it embodiment of all the things that he's worried about in the scene where he accidentally shoots his chick in the leg when he's trying to just get her to stop moving, and then later on the blood from that specific wound causes her demise.
Man, so, that is so deep.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. I'm sorry, I'm off topic though. We're supposed to be talking about
I want to go back one more little tidbit about the water.
Okay.
At the end of the movie, when they raise up the dead body of Immortal Joe,
right, and
they decide that fuck him, he's no longer in charge. We're gonna praise the new emperor, Charles Theron, as you mentioned earlier.
Charlie Theron.
Then at this point, they turn the gigantic water fountain back on, and they just leave it running.
Yeah.
The people are dancing in the rain, collecting it in their little buckets, but they're just wasting this water.
Very inefficient system.
It's totally inefficient, and I just want to make sure the listener really knows how inefficient.
Well, I thought about it.
Their aqueduct was.
Oh yeah, or lack thereof.
That's true.
So I thought about it. I think they're going to resolve that problem. It looked to me, if I remember correctly, it was the stupid milkmaid chicks that turned it on.
Yeah, they need to get rid of those milkmaids.
Yeah, they're going to get kicked out. They don't need that anymore. What do they need milk for? It's fucking weird.
Immortal Joe doesn't need to stay immortal by drinking milk.
Yeah, which is how you stay immortal.
Maybe, is that why they were all so pale and white? Because they just drank milk?
Yeah, they drank nothing but milk.
They were just like...
They were coated in powdered milk. In case they got hungry or thirsty, they just licked their skin, and they gave them some nutrients and vitamins.
10 years ago, we agreed that we would have ready a list of the top 5 presidents, and we did not prepare that.
Oh, I have mine.
Well, I don't have mine.
Oh, no. Well, I'll just
let's
hold on to mine.
You're going to hold on to it, or you want to
I'll hold on to my list.
Okay,
that way.
Next 10 years, we'll do the list.
Yeah.
It's a promise.
Okay.
Feel pretty good about our synopsis of Mad Max.
Yeah, that was a nice synopsis. Oh, and I think Charlie Theron is going to totally handle that water situation.
I think
so. Put up a trough.
Is he going to be in the next movie?
I hope they don't make another one.
Oh.
It just seems like it would be a weird thing.
They should make Mad Max 2 Road Warrior.
Like a remake? Or...
No, it would be like the 5th installment.
Yeah.
So this is 5, which is actually 2.
Right. So it's like a second trilogy.
Instead of Fury Road, it's Road Warrior.
Well, I think that the second movie already has that name.
Okay. Well,
so I think
that might be a problem.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, I've been thinking about it.
We gotta rewrite the history books.
Well, I got another one for you. What do you think of this? All right. Mad Max 5, Beyond Thunderdome.
That could be good.
I can't think of anything wrong with using that title.
Well, that'll work.
How could that possibly get confused with any other movie?
Never.
Okay, perfect. Okay, well, we're going to submit that for a suggestion.
We'll tell George Miller.
Yeah, hey, what's going on, man?
Yeah.
We filmed your entire next movie in claymation.
Took us several years.
So I've actually been thinking about this, Jason. I actually hired someone to go ahead and write all of our, transcribe all of our pod quests for us, so we don't have to worry about that anymore.
Paper trees and everything, the garden and
I personally
processing plants.
Yeah, I prefer to do that ourselves.
Okay.
So we'll handle that side, but we already got that mostly done. It's all about upkeep at this point.
Okay.
And harvesting. But I think we might have to wait another probably 3 or 4 years till we do our next podcast, because I'd really like to do this animated claymation
Mad Max.
Yeah, this claymation Mad Max.
Let's do that. We'll get it done.
And I don't want to release it.
Of course not. No, yeah. We're going to finish it.
Yeah, it's just for us.
And once we finish it,
we'll delete it.
Well, before we delete it, we're going to talk about it on our podcast.
Well, maybe we're going to mention it a little. I want to delete it immediately. I don't even really think we should watch it.
Okay. All right.
I mean, we'll edit it. We'll add the music. We'll watch
credits,
it. Throw in the credits.
Trailers.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
make some promotional posters.
We'll make all that, and then we'll put it on like a flash drive, and then we'll destroy that flash drive forever, and we'll just burn the computers that we'll burn the computers that we made it on.
We'll bury the ashes.
Yeah,
in a different state.
Yeah, and then we'll take that whole state and shoot it up into space.
Well, that is a quite the plan.
So probably actually closer to 20 or 30 years before we can
Before
do
we're
that.
shooting states up into space?
Yeah, that's
That's
actually...
a little advanced.
Maybe we'll... You know what? We'll go on a PodQuest and we'll let the listeners know what we do, how we decide to destroy our life's work before anyone can watch it.
That's good.
And verify that it exists.
Okay, well...
Or doesn't
exist.
exist.
Plan.
Yeah.
Do you want to wrap this up?
Yeah, so let's see. We did a little recap of our last episode. We updated everybody on our paper tree seeds.
That's right.
And the situation with them.
Big deal.
Yeah, very, very good.
We talked about JT Streets.
Oh, got a lot of good information on JT Streets. We had a great conversation about Saws and their connection to Mad Max.
Right.
We talked about maybe one of the greatest actors of our time, Charles Theron.
Charles Theron.
We established that old ladies should probably stay away from the dune motocross. Not the safest thing in the world, but you know what? I don't recommend that to old gentlemen either.
No.
Yeah, that's
like an under 40 thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say under 63.
Okay, well, we did establish that I was.
I hope I didn't establish any
big piece of shit.
Yeah, that I'm a big piece of shit.
No, we established that I was a big piece of shit.
Well, you're like half a big piece of shit.
I'm half of a piece of shit and
But
half of a sexist.
But you do not
But I'm working
see
on
people with missing limbs as disabled or
That's
out of
true.
sorts. That's good.
So that's one good thing about me. Talked about C-Pops, your hit
Oh,
record.
God,
DJ
C-Pops.
Flicky Biscuits.
Another
That's
long
right.
chunk of time, and that will be out. I got another probably 30...
Oh, you're supposed to, you're waiting another 10 years?
Yeah.
I believe Bono told you that you
Oh, yeah,
were
no,
late.
Bono's giving me some sage-like advice on making my album.
Very smart man. Folks, I think we're going to call it a day.
Yeah, do you want to do our exit greetings on this one?
Yeah, I don't know what our exit greetings are.
Yeah, well, I meant more of
I'm
like...
JB.
Yeah.
You're JB.
I am JB.
You just listened to TBD.
Oof. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye. If you want to follow us on Twitter, you can find me, JB, at TBD DOS Podcast, or JB, my cotangent, at Shibbly Bibbly Boop. Thanks for listening.